What's up guys, and welcome back to the Ultimate Guide to Bloodborne. This is part 11. We're going to be going through Nightmare of Mensis and Mergo's Loft as well.
Yeah, although it is still kind of like the same area, so...
Yeah, it's in the same place. So this is a little bit longer because of course we're going through two bosses and getting all the items and stuff, and we need to do a little bit of the lecture building as well, because now we're on the top floor.
So to explain it, we came from the lantern that you get from beating the one reborn, and then you just walk into the building in front of it.
Yeah, and you interact with the body that's sitting on the chair.
Yeah.
It's Advent Plaza is the name of the lantern, I'm sure. So yeah, we're back here, so we're dealing with more of these guys who are just a pain in the ass, but the Tonic just two-shots them now, so that's not even much of a problem.
Yes, because they're so unbelievably weak to lightning.
Yeah. Now there's only like 3 items in this entire upper section, I think. Like 3 or 4 items in this full upper section.
Yeah,
so
this is a chunk, and then I think there's a rune in like another room that we will get to, obviously. So
you might be right. I know you got a rune from Patches. I know we're about to get a rune from Patches.
He gives you anti-clockwise metamorphosis.
Yeah, so that room had nothing in it. This room has nothing in it. So it's all on the other side is where all the items are. So
yeah, pretty much.
We're going to run straight down here because there's a chunk in here, and I'm going to get fucked up by some of these guys because I just hate fighting them because they're bullshit. They have this really annoying hitbox where they just have this insane reach, and these guys are throwing spit on you, I think it is. I'm not sure what it is that they're throwing at you, but I think they spit to refill the jug, and it's really annoying.
Spit or cum, I don't know, one or the other.
Alright, yeah, so you're just going to go from 0 or 100, yeah?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Right, this year's those... Obviously you could fight these guys, but we were just trying to speed things up, so we're just like, fuck it, just bolt past them.
So we need to go to the other side of this hall because there's an item in this room around here.
And as you can see, apparently they're aggro behind the wall and can somehow slightly attack.
These guys can hit you through the wall as well, by the way, with their hands. Really annoying. Really annoying. So that's communion. That's the one that lets you hold more vials.
Cool.
But so a few of these guys have joined me. I think these guys annoy me quite a bit in here. Oh, there's 4 of them.
So,
yeah.
Tron is out.
Another menial enemy that has a pancake attack for no fucking reason.
Deal with it. Get good and deal with it. That's my advice to you.
It's not a case of getting good, they just need to design better enemies.
Or you just get good. The enemies aren't supposed to be easy.
Well, the enemies aren't also supposed to be bullshit.
Deal with it. Anyway, right, so...
You're shite at the game?
So, I still enjoy it. I don't complain. Anyway, right, so there's a trap hole in the floor, and here's Patches, so now you need to talk to him.
Yep, and talk to him. I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter what you say to him, he gives you the rune. I'm like 100% sure of that. But always tell Patches no anyway, because we like Patches, because Patches is funny.
Fuck Patches.
Patches is like one of the only interesting NPCs. But now we're going to open this door next to him, which is a shortcut to the first floor.
Yeah.
But now we need to go back up and go through the doors on the upper section to get to Nightmare of Mensis.
Yeah, you can't. The doors at the bottom floor won't lead you to the same place. They lead you to Nightmare Frontier.
Yeah, so now we have to go through these ones, which is just so much fun to have this pointless area in the middle.
Yeah, so it'll take you out. It'll take you out here at Nightmare Mensis, and there's a sort of little cave thing you need to go through, and there's also a Wandering Nightmare coming up as well, so you want to defeat that quickly. Oh,
there was something that we should have done that we didn't do. When you get to the first lantern here, best thing to do is to go back to the dream and put on your new clockwork rune, because it's you get extra stamina for wearing it. So we didn't do that. We completely forgot all about it. But you guys can do that because we have hindsight, and hindsight is beautiful.
Yeah. Now another thing is
these worms.
These enemies here will split into worms, and that is a pain in the ass. So what we actually recommend is to just fucking avoid all the enemies at this first part of this level.
Well, you need to kill that wolf guy so you can get the nightmare that's the Wandering Nightmare that's just up ahead.
Yeah, true. But
so kill this one, and then we pretty much ignore everything else. Now this is kind of like a suicide run, so make sure that you've spent all the souls that you're looking to spend, because there's an item coming up which you tend to get stuck, and then just all of them come at you and attack you. Now there is an easier way to deal with this, but I don't like to fight the enemies here because that tower up above on the right above where our character is right now, which glows when you step into the line of sight of it, starts to afflict frenzy. So hooray for that. Now there is ways to get through this place without taking frenzy. Like you can bait the wolves, and when the wolves start taking frenzy damage, you'll be able to run past, and sometimes you won't take any frenzy at all. But what I'm going to do right now is just get the fuck out of here, because all of these wolves, like, you'll be able to see the worms in their mouth, or they'll attack and like the worms will come out of their mouth when they go to attack you. Those ones split and they're really fucking annoying to deal with. So we're just going to run past it all. There's 2 items on the left here. I die getting the next one because you get stuck, as I was saying.
It is possible that you could like space yourself in a way where you won't get stuck. It's just so happened to be a luck-based thing here, so we went up to grab it.
I've gotten through it multiple times without being stuck before, so I ducked that attack and then I'm being bombarded with rocks, and I think it's that wolf right there who blocked me in.
Yeah.
So that was GG no re. So we lost 20,000 there. And to put it in perspective, I hate this area so much that I'm not even going to get them. I'm just going to run away. Because why deal with that shit?
Yeah, so really should have leveled up, but fuck it. Again, hindsight.
That's why hindsight is beautiful. This is where we should have went and put the rune on as well, but we just didn't.
Yeah. Now, not only that, no matter how... We're about as leveled up as we possibly could be at this point, and our weapons are like leveled up also as it possibly could be. But these enemies are still quite tough.
Yeah,
so,
the wolves take like 3 or 4 hits. Well, I mean, the first wolf took like fucking 6 or 7 hits. So I noticed that this guy has my my blood echoes, and I'm weighing up whether I want to fight him or not, and I decided against it. Just fuck it, not worth it.
Yeah.
There's a chunk in on the left to this door, and then we're going to try and get through the door. But unfortunately, the wolf decides to get in the way, because that's...
Weirdly enough, this beginning bit of the level is much harder than the rest of the level and next part of the level as well, so
yeah,
there's something weird going on there, but...
I think I'll only kill a few more enemies in total, because I skip on most of this shit. I don't attack any of the iron guys. I think I kill like the dog crows and the crow dogs, and that's really it. So we just had to get him out of the way so we can get through the door, of course. Now that we're in here, we're safe from everything that's out there. Sometimes the wolf comes in with you, so just take care of him. But go in here and immediately go to the right, because then you won't aggro the spiders, and this gets really easy.
Not only that, the spiders are also quite difficult, so...
This is where the bell ringing woman spawns, by the way, the multiplayer one for the first part of Nightmare Mensis, right where that cold blood packet was. So none of the spiders have dropped because I don't know why, they just don't. So now we're going to jump off to the right, grab the shaman bone blades, and then just immediately run to the other side of this walkway that's right in front of us here. Because the little spiders have annoying reach, they attack quicker than you can, and they do a good bit of damage as well as the big one has like AoEs and shit like that. So
quite hardy also. So
yeah, they take a few hits. So this is another bullshit Rosemarinus NPC. As long as you're on this side of the bridge, the spiders shouldn't aggro towards you. This guy does a lot of damage as well, by the way. He's using Ludwig's Holy Blade too. So just try not to get hit by him too much, because he's taking a good chunk off of us per swing. And he almost kills me with the Rosemarinus there, even though I was dodging through it.
Yeah, no idea what the fuck happened there. So
I didn't even react to that. I just took a shitload of damage and I don't know why.
However, I'd say that relatively this guy is probably easier than the other Rosemarinus NPC in Bergenworth.
Yeah, that's only because the one in Bergenworth has the chance to use the Call Beyond AoE thing.
And the guy in Bergenworth has crazy health as well for the time.
Yeah, that as well. But we've got some good gems in our weapons now, so we're just gonna boost through the game like this essentially.
Yeah. So, funnily enough, with this area, the enemies won't attack you unless the big guy sees you. So
yeah, there's like these little iron men essentially, and like their iron armor. They won't aggro. But there's bigger ones of them that have like it's like a giant axe, and they've got a chain as well as like a sort of whip in their offhand, and only when they sort of pressure you is when these little iron men will come anywhere near you, so you can ignore them.
Yeah.
And I pretty much don't kill anything in this entire next section because it's just not worth doing. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go get the iron. Now this took me a couple of tries to get down first of all. But I'm pretty good at it now, so I get it first try here. But trying to practice was tough. It's where the 2 of them are. You just got to try and dodge past this guy, grab the rune, and then run away.
Now, where this is to the first lantern that you came across, where you ran over the bridge where we said to ignore the enemies. If you take a right there, you can come down this side of the cliff and it'll lead to here.
Right before the bridge. There is a right after the bridge, which is a dead end. But where the lantern is, where if the bridge would be straight to the left, go to the right instead.
Yeah. And that way you can make it to this shortcut if you want, but you really don't need to. You won't ever go that route generally anyway, so
yeah. Something died. I think one of the Yetis fallen into the elevator and killed itself.
Oh, that'd be cool.
It might have fell down the pit or something, but something died when I got to the top of there.
So you can see these guys aren't giving you any hassle, so you don't need to do anything right now.
And then on the other side of this mirror, just hug the left, and there'll be a little way around around here to get this item, and then of course the balcony's broken, so you can get through here. Now, right down there's the big one, like right in front of us that you can see there. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop down, get the big one to come over towards us, and then we're going to go for that item once the big one's like pulled away from it a little, or in the middle of an attack, and then we're just going to run, because there's no reason to kill anything here, because it's just more hassle than it's worth yet again.
Yeah, so after this area is where we can start killing enemies because they become manageable, but...
I mean, the boss is next.
Yeah, I mean, basically...
which, by the way, guys, before you take the boss on, make sure you have poison knives, because poison knives do something kind of funny with Micolash. It's a weird little glitch which ends up benefiting you because you can hit him with enough poison knives to poison him before, like, he gets stuck in a weird animation loop, essentially. So you're able to poison him pretty quickly, and that lasts the entire fight essentially while you can't access him, which is always awesome. Just to have their health constantly depleting is really handy. Now, there's not any items in this lower section. It's when you get upper, there's some more items. Like, there's a bird cage just behind us, but first we're going to get the elevator, because that takes you all the way down to the bottom. This takes you down to near where the lantern just before where we picked up the iron from in between the 3 Yetis. That's where that elevator takes you down to, and you'll see the lever for that down next to the lantern as well. So apparently, just to get in this cage, all you have to do is sprint towards it. That's all you need to do.
No running or anything.
Yep. I would definitely advise against run jumping, because you might overshoot the cage and you might go off the side of Mensis. So probably best avoid that. But these are bird dogs. If you've not noticed, these are like dogs with bird heads, which means that they have the dog's really annoying AI movement and the bird's really annoying attacks. And then the other ones are flipped the other way around, where it has the bird's shitty movement and the dog's annoying attacks. So you can tell they really got their creative spark here. What if we put the dog's head on the birds and the bird's head on the dogs? New enemies, 2 of them. But now we're going to go into Micolash. Now this fight is actually kind of easy overall. Micolash does have the potential to one-shot you though.
Easy, but a pain in the ass. An unimaginable pain in the ass.
Yeah, so this is like a sort of puzzle boss. The way this works is that Micolash is always going to run in the opposite direction that you're coming from. So what you have to do is position yourself so that he is between, like, so that it'll be you, then Micolash, then the boss room in a straight line. And then you want to try and, like, corral him into the boss room. So the way we do it is chase him up here. He'll run to the right, and he usually runs to the right and then goes downstairs, and we double back. But he came here. So if you chase him up and round and he gets to here, stop at the top of the stairs that are on our left right now, and then come back around to chase him into here essentially. Because he always goes the opposite way. If you just keep chasing him, he'll just keep running round in circles. So this is the first part of the fight where he has 2 minions. Now Micolash is a very reactionary boss. It tends to be if you hit him, he will try to cast the tentacle spell. Like, you'll see him try to go for the animation almost every time I go in. But it's really easy to dodge, so just dodge past, hit him a couple of times, dodge past, hit him a couple of times. It's really easy. He does have melee in the second phase, which is kind of funny to see him try and, like, kung fu you.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
I think that this boss, like, personally I think that this boss was a bit of a letdown.
Yeah, I mean, this was the obligatory puzzle boss.
Yeah, pretty much, and again, it wasn't particularly great either, so... Yeah. It just became a pain in the arse more than anything, and the whole layout of the area is kind of confusing and shit, so... You take him down to half health, and then he disappears and reappears somewhere else.
Yeah, so now what you want to do is go out of here and go up to the right, where there would have been a fog gate previously. Now that's gone because you can advance to the next section, which takes you upwards into the upper layer. So coming along here, you'll be met with a staircase going up to the right and down to the left. Go down to the left, there's a Wandering Nightmare which drops 3 chunks, and there's the moon rune at the bottom as well. It was the iron we got from in between the Yetis. I said moon rune I think last time, I'm not sure. But either way, the moon rune's down here. Be careful because these flail guys build up like fast poison on you, which is Dark Souls 1 bleed essentially. But they take a lot of damage as well from the Tornatress. I just got fucked up somehow. Probably because I'm bad.
Yeah.
I was just waiting for you to say it, so I thought I'd...
I wasn't going to say it, but yeah, you are bad.
Right, alright. I thought you were going to. I just thought you were waiting for more comedic timing.
Nah.
Alright, okay.
Anyway.
So, once you've grabbed that, this is me telling Tony what I just picked up. all the way down to the bottom there'll be one of the bigger ones and one of the smaller iron warrior people as well. So we're just going to get past them and get the rune that's at the bottom of the stairs, and then we're just going to run all the way back up. We're not going to kill anything else in this section other than Micolash.
Yeah. Fucking damage.
Yep. So what that was an axe to the face and then the crossbow that we can't use.
Yeah.
Why can't they give us a crossbow? That would have been
What's
awesome.
the fucking crossbow? Little repeater one. Anyway.
It would have been just way more Van Helsing.
And it just made it so you, like, it doesn't parry anything.
Yeah, it just does damage.
Yeah. So anyway.
I mean, that's what the Evelyn's used for.
Yeah, I suppose. So some blood vials there going. This is going. Basically, there's like 2 levels, but they both look kind of the same, which is why I think it's confusing.
Just keep going up. Essentially, is how you make progress in this boss room. So Micolash is dead ahead right in front of us. So we're going to chase him all the way up, and he's going to jump through a mirror on our left because that's what he can do. So now we need to go to the right, where there's a chunk, and you're going the right way when you're still picking up items essentially. So when you go through here, now remember where this is, because this is what drops you into the boss room where you fight Micolash. So you need to remember where this is. He's not right below us right now. If we drop down, he's going to be on our right in the middle. So we need to chase him again. He's going to jump through another mirror, and then we're going to end up above him. And that's when we're able to hit him with the poison knives. So now he's running up again. So just keep chasing him. That's all you need to do. If you just keep following him, eventually it will all work out in your favour as well. So he dropped in this room on the left, which is good because this is where we pull out the throwing knives. Because we have a nice wide open like angle where we can hit him. We've got a nice wide field of view to get him with. And you see the animation, he gets caught in. He's like, when you hit him, he teleports into like a little smoke cloud. And now he's stuck in that animation. So just lock on and keep throwing knives until his health starts to come down. Which only takes like 2 or 3 knives. But I just keep going for some reason.
Because you never saw that he was actually poisoned.
Yeah, and then I noticed, oh shit, his health's going down. So I try to plunge attack him, and then he vanishes. And what I find is, usually he runs in there and then the gate comes down behind him so that you have to go back up and around to drop into it. But he just teleported into there for some reason, and I don't know why. Sometimes you can fight him out there, which is pretty funny. So now all we need to do is just keep travelling up to the top again. Once we get to this section where we grab the chunk, we're above the drop down into the boss room. So Micolash's area is a little bit tough. It's kind of tough to work out in the beginning. So I'm just making sure I can see him below me so I can buff and hit him with that sweet, sweet plunge attack. And I think I get the visceral as well. Yeah, I do. That combo though. So Micolash, by the way, can use a call from beyond, which is that big star thing that the NPC in Bergenworth can use as well, which is really tough to dodge, and that is where he can one-shot you. So have a shield in your left hand, it will mitigate enough of the damage. Like, you'll take about 60% of your health as damage instead of dying in one shot. But that really wraps up Micolash overall. You get the Mensis cage, which is just a helmet. We've not figured out any use for it yet.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be one. A cutscene will play, the bridge will lower. So now up where that chunk was, where the where you dropped in to get on top of the boss room, there's now going to be a bridge there which takes you further, which we're gonna show you at some point as well. But I think we need to pick up 2 more items in this area. There's a cold blood packet, and we need to pick up the iron door key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that. We're also going to go back to the beginning, and with no enemies and things to distract us, we're going to run about and sort of give you the general layout of where things are. Yeah,
so we're going to, if you're comfortable with this, then you can skip ahead about a minute into the video or something like that to skip this, but we're going to show you all the, we're going to show you like a full walk around the place, essentially. So this is us at the very beginning where we ran in, and Micolash's first boss room is on the right.
Yep.
And this is us running straight up to the top. So this is the way you would go if you wanted to just get all the items in here. After you fight Micolash, if you go back to the start, it's just go in first right and then straight up and just keep travelling up, and that takes you everywhere if you don't really care about the items. But essentially you always want to be travelling up, except here where you go out to the left, and this takes you into a downward section where Micolash can sometimes run down here if you chase him the wrong way, and he hops through this mirror that is just on our right here, and that's the iron door key just next to it on the left as well. But he can jump through that, and then he appears where he started from when you first get to this upper section. So really the mirrors are just there to mess with you, and it's kind of irritating.
So as you can see, it goes up and then it can go down, but I can't remember what that room is there.
That's where I fought Micolash.
Oh, is that his actual?
That was the second layer. That was the second area where you fight Micolash.
Okay, so going
This
back
is
up
me
here.
constantly running up. To the left would be where I would drop, where I was in the room where I threw him the poison knives, and to the right there was the drop down into the boss room. This is the bridge to the lantern for the second section. So now we're going to go back, obviously, because it's time to level up, because we've got 81,000 souls. And I think after we pop all the soul packets, we go to about 120,000 at some point.
Yeah, it was something crazy.
That might have been after Wet Nurse, actually.
Maybe.
Well, either way, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. Upgrade the cannon, of course, because the saw cleaver and the tonitrus are about as upgraded as we can possibly get them right now. In fact, no, I think the saw cleaver is only +8 right now. Should have upgraded the saw cleaver first. But that's okay, that doesn't matter, because we're using the tonitrus for this section because it's OP. Now, the next part of Nightmare of Mensis is arguably not tougher overall, but the sections where you actually have to fight are definitely tougher than the sections that were in Mensis. Only because there's the 3 fucking giant pigs. There's like several.
Well, the pig. I wouldn't say the pigs are easy enough. They just do a lot of damage, but the actual area is easy. I'd say that you do have the area with the 3 brains, and I suppose that would be technically harder, but it's not so much harder as opposed to just requires so much patience. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, there's an area that has like. It's 4 in total.
Yeah.
4 of those brain things that frenzy you and only have a grab attack, so that's a really irritating area. As well as that's when Tony first realised that frenzy also drains your health whenever it feels like it. Like, it doesn't just take your health away, it actively drains your health as well while you're still under the effects of it, which is fucking stupid. But Tony witnesses that for the first time. So we'll need 1 more point in skill to be able to wield the cannon, because it's 30 and 13. So we're going to get that next, definitely.
Yeah.
And that gives us the cannon for Wet Nurse, I believe, because we're going to get the blood echoes from here.
And here we are back in Mensis.
So this is the lantern after Micolash at the very top of his boss room. So there's a chunk right here, and this is an indication of like what this area is going to give you. Which this area is going to give you a few chunks, as well as the ones before it from like the Wandering Nightmares and stuff as well. So this is the, like we said in Yahar Ghul's episode, this is a chunk heavy area.
Yeah. So
first thing we're going to do is get the shortcut down to Mikolash's place, because this window right here you have to jump into, but it is significantly easier going and trying to get into that when the elevator is going up the way instead of down. Like, so much easier. Because when you're going down, it's like it doesn't give you the roll from the right level, and you end up missing the window.
You can get the iron door key at any point. Like, you can open it from the front and back, can't you?
Yeah, you can open that door.
Okay, so now that you have the iron door key, now that you've got this shortcut down, you can go to the beginning of Mikolash's boss room, and if
Don't do that, because you haven't dropped the mother brain. You can still be frenzied for going out there.
Oh, right.
That's why you need to drop the mother brain. That's why I didn't do that. Otherwise I would have done that, because then there's no reason to go past the frenzy things other than getting the gem.
Okay, fuck me. Ignore whatever I just
said.
said.
So don't use the iron door key yet. We're going to show you where the iron door key is. So there's right at the beginning of Mikolash's boss room, there's now like part of the wall on the left has been broken open, and that's where you use the iron door key. But don't go that way, because you have to drop the big brain in the tower that was frenzying you at the very beginning of the nightmare, so that you don't get frenzied while picking up like the blood rock and all that stuff that's up there, which you do want, because the blood rock gives you a +10 weapon. That is the last material that you need to get the tonitrus to +10, and the game only gives you 1 of them per playthrough, as well as you can get up to 2 of them from the dungeons maximum. So you can only get 3 per character in 1 cycle.
So what we're showing you here is that it only takes 1 poison knife to poison the brain trust guys, but the issue is that they do this, so it's just exasperating, really.
And there goes the frenzy. Even though I broke line of sight, which by the way, you'll see me kill one of them, and then the frenzy still builds up to like 70% even after it's dead.
Yeah.
It's retarded. I hate frenzy. It's the worst thing they've ever put in a game.
So remember that you could use the saw cleaver with fire paper and possibly take it down.
Look at this. This still goes. Look at the state of that. How long ago I killed that?
I know. I mean, they could have made it so it doesn't build up after you kill them. They could have made it so it doesn't drain your health.
They could have made it so that they'd actually have to hit you to build it up, instead of it just being a, I can see you die.
Yeah. Anyway.
You know what that would be in PvP? Broken bullshit. That's what that would be in PvP, but it's fine in PvE.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
So we're coming up to the 18% gem. As you can see, 1 throwing knife is plenty. And look how much this builds up. Like, this builds up to about halfway at least.
So you want to make sure you have all those sedatives from the old woman.
I was in its line of sight for half a second. half a second it opened its eye for, and that's how much my frenzy went up.
So this is less of a guide and more you bitching about the mechanic now.
I mean, yeah, but frenzy is worth it. Because frenzy is literally the worst thing they've ever put in a game.
I can't believe it's not been patched, personally. Actually, I'm astounded that it hasn't been patched.
It's insane. So like this area, just take your time. Really just take your time. You can parry the brains, but you have to parry them about literally a fraction of a second before they grab you and put you in that inescapable grab animation.
Yeah.
Which is really annoying.
Now, you can also put your... put the highest frenzy resist shit you've got on, and then you can also put on the frenzy resist plus 200 rune, which would definitely help.
In terms of it taking longer to frenzy, yeah. Now, for those of you who are a little bit more, like, I suppose, who are better at the game, I guess, there is a thing you can do which is pretty fun. It's pretty convenient as well sometimes, where if you do parry the brain, and your frenzy meter's filling up, if you try to time it so that the frenzy ticks during the middle of your visceral attack animation, you don't take damage from the frenzy. Yeah. Because you're completely immune during that animation to all sources of damage. That includes poison. Like, you can't be... The poison effect will delay during that animation. So if you can get that... If you can get your timing down with that, then frenzy becomes less of an issue, but it still means you have to parry the fucking brain in the first place, which is quite literally a coin flip of whether you die or not.
Yeah.
So, like, a broken line of sight again. But I'm taking a sedative this time because I know how bullshit it's got.
Well, at the very least, it seems that if you break line of sight, then take a sedative, it stops going up. So
yeah,
that is something.
So I'm just going to grab this and run because fuck that guy.
Yeah.
As you can see, my health is just, like, I was at full health a moment ago, and then while I was running away, it just gradually started depleting my health bar for no reason as well. So...
No, there is a reason. Fuck you, that's the reason.
I mean, now this is you just bitching about frenzy. Fuck. So you got to pull this lever so that it drops the brain. Now at this point, you can go back to the start of Micolash's area and go into Micolash's boss room and use the iron key and come out the other side of this section.
But there's no point. Like, there'd be no point at all. Because now that you're here.
I mean, yeah, because it'd take, like, if you were to go to the right, there's a door and that's where you would come out, essentially. Yeah. The other end of that walkway is where you would appear. So we're going to have to show you guys how to get the choir bell, which is the arcane heal. The healing tool, which heals co-op as well. It heals any friendlies, which is really nice. So I luckily dodged this and then just Arjuan it to death, because I fucking hate these things.
See, look at that there.
Yeah, it's grinding my health bar down just because I'm in front of it. It's so annoying. But this is the choir bell. It uses 6 bullets now, or 10 bullets. I can't remember. They might have reduced it to...
They made this, and then you get frenzied again. He's dead.
Yeah. 8 is what it uses 8 bullets. It heals you and anyone nearby, not including any enemies as far as I'm aware. And of course you get more heal the higher arcane, but it's definitely not worth it because it uses up 8 bullets.
Yeah.
So we want to... There's a drop down on the right. Don't take it yet. Get everything in this top section first, because the drop down is a point of no return. Well, it's not a point of no return. It's just it now becomes
point of long return.
Yeah, it's a long return. You essentially, like, you can get out of that drop down section, but you land on the bridge where we fought the NPC hunter that had the Rosemarinus and the Ludwigs on the bridge with the spiders. That's where you end up. So it's probably best not to do that. And this is the iron door.
So this is again on the left hand wall as soon as you go into
Micolash's boss room.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the very bottom section, like the very first layer, as soon as you walk in, it's right there. So now we're going back. Make sure you grab all the gemstones that are up here. There's a 21.6% blood gemstone, which is incredibly good for blood tinge builds. It's probably the best gemstone for blood tinge builds, let's be honest.
Yeah.
There's also a 20% arcane gemstone as well, and these are all droplets, so these can go into any weapon and any gem slot as well. So they're really good. I think my Chikage is 2 21% physicals and the 21.6% blood attack, because the physicals also increase the blood attack.
I mean, not only that, it gives you enough blood. It gives you enough blood attack that you were able to one-shot someone with one shot of the Evelyn. So
yeah, one shot of the Evelyn, a bone dust. 900 damage, GG's.
I mean, if you use that on the repeating pistol, that's enough to kill almost anyone.
If you used it in the repeating pistol, it definitely would kill someone, because it would be 2 bone marrow shots.
Exactly.
So it would definitely kill them. So repeating pistol is also very good. Like, repeating pistol is more like glass cannon.
Yeah.
Blood tinge. That's like just try and get as much damage you can. But now that we're back here, we're going to level up, of course, because we managed to get quite a few souls while just trying to grab that blood rock. And upgrade your Tonitrus to +10. Don't forget that, guys. Upgrade your Tonitrus, and if you haven't, put on the 15% stamina rune as well. And now we're going to move on to the next section. Now we can equip Based Cannon.
Based Cannon.
fire up the based cannon. But yeah, going back to Mergo's Loft Middle, which is the lantern after Micolash, of course, we're going to go through the upper section now that we've done everything below the boss anyway.
And weirdly enough, I would say that this upper section is considerably easier than any of the other areas.
Yeah, I still think the most frustrating place in the game is a tie between this section we just done with all the brains and Nightmare Frontier. Only because Nightmare Frontier has so much fucking clutter. It just gets in the way.
You know what, Nightmare Frontier isn't.
The swamp.
I would say that the end boss should have been a powered up version of Dark Beast Parallel where you can't cheese it. That would have been solid.
What, for Nightmare Frontier? I mean, I suppose it would fit with all the wolves, but there was also giant squids.
Not Nightmare Frontier, I mean for here. As the end boss, as like the kin boss.
What, instead of Wet Nurse?
Yeah. Wet Nurse is easy.
I mean, I know Wet Nurse. I think Wet Nurse is blind. I genuinely think Wet Nurse is blind because it just goes off in attack patterns in the wrong fucking direction. It's like it has zero tracking, so I'm assuming it's blind.
So here we are, we're fighting Shadows of Yharnam now. You should have been well versed in the Shadows of Yharnam by this point. These guys, they're just kind of like NPCs. Honestly, these guys are super easy. If the enemies at the beginning of this level were Shadows of Yharnam and these enemies were the fucking wolf guys,
it'd be way tougher.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. The Shadows of Yharnam are just like regular enemies. You like 3-shot them, I think I do.
And they're easy enough to parry, so...
But yeah, like they're easy enough to parry. Of course, it's the exact same as the one that you fought earlier, by the way. The one with the candle uses the candle as a flamethrower. The one with the sword can only melee. And the mage does loads of fireball attacks. But they don't transform anymore, so you don't need to worry about hydras coming out of nowhere.
That's scary.
So this pig here, sneak up on it, get the free visceral damage, and then just beat the shit out of it.
Now these pigs have many eyes.
Yeah. These pigs have a shitload of eyes. They also... This is the best place in the game, by the way, for either blood echo farming or vial farming and bullet farming, because what you can do is there's 3 pigs here, and there's a lot of Shadows of Yharnam, and you can make the pigs fight the Shadows of Yharnam.
Yeah, that's a thing.
And what happens is they kill each other, and then you just reap the rewards. So if you wear all 3 moon runes while killing everything here, like having it all fight itself, you get a ridiculous amount of blood echoes.
And obviously the lantern's really close. Now, what I just said to do is just go, fucking just grab this rune and then bolt. If you'd done it quicker, obviously the pig would have been further away, so it wouldn't have chased you and hit you, but aside from that, you still didn't die, so it's okay. Yeah,
I was trying to zig and zag, so I decided, fuck the pig, and I just went for the drop.
Yeah.
I don't want to mess with that pig. Like it's almost, and because there's 2 of them, if one of them charge attacks you and shit like that, and then the second one comes in, the charge attack does so much damage that if the second one hits you, it's probably gonna kill you. And like the thing about the pigs is that a lot of their attacks end up knocking you down as well, so you don't really have a lot of room to react if you do get hit.
Yeah, it just means the other pig's getting in the position.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably gonna get fucked up if you try and take on like the 2 pigs at the same time, unless you manage to like control your character movement really well and like get behind both of them consistently. Otherwise, pretty much anybody would have trouble with all of these fucking pigs at the one time. So many pigs in Nightmare of Mensis.
Well, 3.
That's 3 more than there needs to be. Now, so that's pretty much it for the last. That's like the last of the items here, I think.
No, there's those.
There's the 2 items next to where the 2 pigs are originally,
which are very large blood packets. So.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to soften up the pigs a little bit, and then I'm going to bring them to the Shadow of Yharnam because they're split. Like right now they're split, and I actually get lucky. If I remember right, I get insanely lucky here.
Like so this is an example of what you shouldn't do. You should pick up the items and then you should run like a sane person. But he's like, oh well, it's trapped here, which is obviously something that would be so...
It was running, so if I ran to the left, it would have went past the gate and fucked me, so I ran to the right to try and put the gate between me and it so that I could stop it moving, and then I tried to take advantage of it, and yeah, now it's time to go to the Shadows of Yharnam. It's time for them to finish them for me.
Yeah, so what you should have done is just picked up the thing and then ran and waited for the pigs to just come over here by themselves anyway.
Yeah, so I'm just spamming roll, like I can't see shit because of the giant pig blocking my
So basically what's happening right now is just what you should do is probably just avoid the pigs.
This is fun though, like this is a cool thing to see. Like the Shadows of Yharnam ganging up on the pig is hilarious.
True.
Look at the pig go. The fucking pig just wrecked that cunt.
And now you're just left with 1 shadow left.
Exactly. I would have had to have fought 2 pigs and 5 Shadows of Yharnam.
No,
Now I just need to
fight the pigs, just wait till they're awake, grab the items and bolt.
But look at all the blood vials I got though.
Ah, okay.
I got like 1 million.
A million.
I mean, I might be exaggerating a wee bit. But, I mean, look at that as well. We're 80,000 souls again. The pigs drop a shitload, and we were only wearing, what, the 2nd moon rune? No. Yeah, the 2nd moon rune, isn't it?
Why the fuck did you come back here?
Just in case I missed anything in these corners.
But
I didn't. So thankfully that's us got everything other than one thing, which is a blood vial, which we can only carry 1 of because it's a Yusefka's blood vial.
Yeah, and for some reason it's in here. There'll be some kind of weird, funky, lore reason for that, but fuck it.
We'll let Vatty figure that out.
Yeah.
We'll show you the items so you can tell you the story. So what we're doing now is going up here. Now this is... I don't know how to describe this. Yeah, this is like a strange NPC who's just staring at the clock.
Who's effectively, technically the end boss of the game later on.
Right, so by the way, that's a Yusefka's blood vial. Now we have one on us right now, so we can't pick that up. So I don't want to open that chest and have the item disappear. So I'm going to go into the wet nurse fight. I'm going to deliberately use my Yusefka's blood vial so that way I can then fill my inventory again with that one. So that I don't waste any items or leave a chest essentially before I go into NG+.
So we're going to have to edit in other footage of fighting Wet Nurse because in outright, Wet Nurse has like sort of 2 forms, and you can beat her up and eventually she'll like darken the whole area, and then she'll darken the area and then she'll spawn another one of her and she'll do all these crazy attacks. You just need to dodge it for like a minute. Okay, so
one of the things you mentioned about Wet Nurse is that she is ridiculously weak to just get behind an R1 spam.
Yeah, so if you do it well enough, you can skip out her other form thing and you just go ham on her and just do a whole load of damage, and she doesn't even bother with the form. It's almost like if you do enough damage to her before the parts where it would trigger the form, it just skips it.
Yeah, like it seems that she has an attack where like she covers the area in a purple mist. We're going to show you that at the end of this fight actually. We'll show you a clip of it and how we deal with it, but it's really fucking simple essentially. So a lot of her attacks are like really swipey and shit like that, but she doesn't seem to have a whole lot of tracking when it comes to attacks like these. Like she'll spam that attack like 2 or 3 times in a row without turning to face you at all.
Yeah.
And during that attack she has almost, like right there, she has almost 0 tracking as well, which is unfortunate because she could have been a lot tougher.
She could have been.
I mean, she already hits like a truck.
Doesn't even really hit that hard.
That last hit me a hell of a lot. Not that one. Not the one where she flew at me. The one before it where she like spinned and hit with all 6 blades going up the way.
So I mean, frankly, it's one of those bosses where it's actually hard to really suggest a particular strategy, simply because it isn't really that difficult.
Yeah. Now as you can see, the cannon doesn't do a whole lot of damage to her. That only done 1,000 damage. So we're getting more damage with just like a Tornatress combo, and that was the most damage the cannon was going to do at 1,200 right there with Bone Marrow Ash. So you're better just swinging your weapon in her face over and over again. Now what happened there was I got caught with her combo, but that's like the only time she's ever really going to damage you is if she just catches you because you mistimed the roll.
You might also want to use the sock lever with
fire paper as well.
Fire or bow paper, because it does the sock lever does attack a little bit faster than Tornatress, and is a noticeable amount to like stagger enemies essentially, because your DPS is a little bit higher. You get like a full extra hit in, which is like enough damage to take you over the stagger limit.
But that's her being beaten now, and now we're going to show you the purple mist attack we were talking about. So usually when her health gets to about a third of the way down or something like that, she'll do this animation here, and the place will go purple. At this point, we break lock and back away as soon as this one pops in, because she'll summon copies of herself, and we just run round near the outside of it in a counterclockwise formation. Just keep running round it counterclockwise until the mist leaves, essentially. And this is all you have to do. You'll get hit maybe once or twice, but if you try to take her on in this fight, she'll just keep like having clones of herself appear all around her, and you'll get comboed by like 2 or 3 of them at a time.
Yeah.
So we just try to avoid it all and just time our rolls to avoid all the attacks as well. The good thing is that the blades get highlighted, so there's an indication of when the attack's going to come at you, because usually when the blades stop moving, they'll lose their trail, and when they stop moving, that's them about to come in your way. So you see the light trail for the wind up, and then at the end of the wind up, the light trail disappears, so that's when you want to roll. But that's the one attack's a problem. Now you have to wait a long amount of time, right? It's going to seem like the game glitched, but it takes about 10-15 seconds after you beat Wet Nurse before you get the prompt to say that you beat her.
Yeah. Don't know what the deal with that is.
It's been the same since day one, and I've no idea. And it also comes up Nightmare Slain instead of Prey Slaughtered.
Yeah.
It's nice that, isn't it?
I think that happens with kin enemies.
Maybe. But either way, now we used our Yusefka's blood vial during that fight, of course. Now we're going to go and get that last one that's down there, and then we're going to go back to the Hunter's Dream. Now this is the first time I'd seen this. I came back out here after beating Wet Nurse, and she bowed and then left. Like, I'd never seen that before. Because after Wet Nurse, the lantern shows up there, and then I just fuck off.
Yeah.
Because why bother being up here anymore? But in this particular occasion, I had to come back and get the blood vial, so now I know this. But it's pretty cool that she bows after you beat Wet Nurse and then she fucks off. There's probably a lore reason why. I don't know. I just think it's cool that the NPC reacts in general. It's nice to show that it's definitely a lot more than Dark Souls 2 NPCs done.
True.
What did they do? They
Nothing.
pulled 30 feet ladders out of thin air. And then sawed it in two if you didn't have enough money.
Just to spite you.
I know, prick. And then charge you $8,000 for a wee mini ladder box thing. Wanker. But
So-
yeah, now we're just going to level up. So we're at what, 183,000.
So we're getting some levels out of this.
With the moon rune, we got about $100,000 from Wet Nurse. Because we were at about 84,000 when we beat the pigs and all the. Mind I pointed that out. We're about 84,000 in that. So now we're at 180,000. So yeah, it's more than worth it to go there. More than worth it to go there. And now you see me putting on the actual other moon rune and the stamina rune. If we were wearing the other moon rune, we'd probably get an extra level out of this. Maybe. Because I think we're like just on the cusp of leveling up again. But we're going to spend our insight as ever. We're just going to stock up on fire and bolt paper because that's the smart thing to do. Because there's nothing else to spend insight on. Actually, nothing else to spend insight. I mean, we could buy numbing mist, but we don't use that because it's a PvP item.
Yeah.
Well, it's a PvP and Amelia item.
And
I guess you might get lucky and hit an NPC hunter with it, but the only time it's really effective is Yosefka because she heals more than once. Every other one only heals once, at most.
Yeah.
So, it's not really a big deal. But now that we've got our cannon, we're going to put in a 15 arcane, because Bistro is really handy in NG Plus in case you get overwhelmed. You can just Bistro and boom, you're out of there, you're in clear. Knock all the enemies back and you're clear. As well as the old Hunter's Bone, just because it's fucking awesome. It's Nuggin Futs.
Yeah.
But what is it we're doing after this? Because there's a little section after us checking inventory and stuff. What is it that we had?
Ariana.
You're right, Ariana. So now that we've done Wet Nurse, as you can see, the Hunter's Dream is now on fire, which signals the next passage of time in the game, essentially.
Yeah.
So this is where Ariana, the working girl's questline, comes to an end. In a rather cynical fashion, I guess. It's not exactly the best ending, is it? But we need to do this so that we can get the umbilical cord. So as you can see, she's gone.
Now, if you can kill Adela here, and she'll drop Odin Wraith rune.
But I think it's a lesser version of the one that you have anyway, so it's not really worth doing. But you can do it if you want. So now there was like blood on the floor leading to the way out of Tomb of Odin, so that's your hint to go there. I think I show that on the way back as well, like I show it better. But now she's down here, we gained an insight for witnessing this, so she's given birth to that. Now, what you can do is, if you kill the little baby thing, it immediately kills Ariana, and you get the umbilical cord and her shoes. But if you kill Ariana, the baby doesn't die and you get Ariana's shoes. For some reason, like, the baby will kill her, but she won't kill the baby.
Yeah.
So we're going to kill the baby because the baby drops an umbilical cord, and we need the third umbilical cord so that we can fight Moon Presence. Because we missed out on one by fighting Yosefka when she was a hunter in order to get the rune. So that gives us our 3 cords. Ariana's shoes, of course, are just for a little bit of swag. And we're going to get her dress in the next episode.
Hell yeah.
Yep. We're ready for a night on the town.
Or a night in a stranger's
Women,
bed.
lock up your brothers. We're having a different kind of hunt tonight. The cunt hunt. So yeah, there's the blood leading away. You can't even drink the iron brew because of that. It's so bad. But yeah, like you can see the blood there leading out of Tomb of Odin, so that's your hint leading from her chair to go that way, and that's how you're supposed to find her. But that ties it up for the end of Mergo's Loft and the Wet Nurse.
So there's only 3 more episodes left, which is
yeah, and it's 2 optional areas in the last boss, so we're almost done, guys. Almost done.
Yeah, so that's it for this episode. So if
You've got past the most frustrating stuff by far, by the way.
Oh, easily.
So take solace in that. Just rest easy in your beds tonight, knowing that the worst is behind you.
Yeah, I mean the guide is very short compared to the other Souls games.
It's relatively quick, yeah.
Literally like half the time of any of the other Souls games.
Yeah, surprisingly. But yeah, we're gonna leave you guys with that. Of course, click the video on the left to go back to Yahar'gul.
Yeah.
And click the video on the right to go ahead to Forsaken Castle Cainhurst.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys then.
Bye.